Amazing. This is a Wimhurst machine. One of the first gizmos to generate electricity by induction and store it in jars like these. And you invented this?
Yes, and everything else in here.
My brother's a genius.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for you, but we're running out of time here.
Marley's ghost. How do you get the numbers to light up like this?
Yeah, I'll explain that later. You remember I said I might be able to prove that you're my brother?
Well, I was Jerry's brother my whole life, so it wasn't hard to play Jerry's brother on the show. That was pretty easy.
Things that Ray Bradbury and Arthur Clarke and Isaac Asimov were imagining 40, 50, and 60 years ago. Some of them are happening right now.
Brother?
That's what's so terrific about Sliders, is that you are going from world to world every week, and the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm Kari Wurr. Stay tuned because there's going to be more Sliders action here on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Sci-Fi Channel's original production of Sliders will break all the rules. It's got wild stories, non-stop action, and amazing special effects.
Action, please.
Each new Sliders episode poses a unique challenge for the cast and crew.
Initiating sequence!
They have to create a completely different world week after week.
Hello! Anybody? Looks like we missed it by a couple years.
Think maybe Chromax?
No blast marks, no rubble. They're generally a lot showier.
I remember looking up at these buildings and imagining in my mind this futuristic city, and I was thinking, wow, this is really cool. It even changes the way I walk. Heard of biowarfare experiments.
So what are you saying? Everything is dead?
Not everything.
Everything is pretty much planned out. Where you land, how high you're going to jump.
When you react to a C-stand with a piece of tape on it, there's a tendency to overdo it.
You have a lot of people who are behind the scenes who have pretty much mapped out things for you.
What's the matter with you? I'm right here.
I think it was my second day that I was on working, and it was my first vortex. We landed from up top with a truck coming from behind us, and then we had to hit the ground, turn around, and they really do make it look great.
Once the actors have done their part, the show is far from complete. Weeks of post-production are still needed before you get to the fantastic finished show. Not gonna make it!
They don't even say anything that sounds like that.
Will we be on the ground with plenty of time to spare?
You mean the vortex will open up in the airplane?
We're gonna have to, or we're gonna miss the slide.
Is there enough room? What about the stability of the craft?
Come on, hurry up! We've got one chance! Randy, get up!
We had our folks being shot down out of an airplane and having to vortex into another world in midair. Then obviously our folks can't jump out of a real airplane, so we create a small mock-up of the airplane itself. Then we have actual skydiving footage. The actors are put on trapeze wires that are very small wires so they can float and be glided in front of a screen. The vortex element that is manufactured by matte artists, and then all three elements are superimposed.
Special effects are an essential part of what makes Sliders exciting.
Mantis ship. Let's roll it!
We had to take and create the actual ship from scratch and created what are called isoforms or lines, a wireframe, if you'd call it. And from that point, we went and did what's called skinning. We took actual texture off the real plane, painted it up a little bit in a Macintosh using Photoshop. And we also had to create reflections on the glass, shadows on the ground, a heat signature from the engines of the plane.
In Genesis, Jerry is running from the Cro-Mags. He's going to get shot by a laser blast. We enhance that in post-production with a visual effect of the laser blast actually coming in and hitting his shoulder at the moment that the squib explodes.
Where's Remy?
The actual vortex itself took us about 3 months to create it. We had to come up with certain colors, for instance, because if the vortex is over water, for instance, it has to be a certain color. If it's over land, it has to be a certain color. And we had to take all these scientific facts into mind when we built this vortex. We wanted to make sure that the audience watching the show feels like we're legit with our reasons and why we color the vortex certain ways.
We could literally save this world.
But there are millions of parallel Earths. What are the odds of finding your home?
Better than the odds of beating the Cro-Mags with a handful of resistance fighters. Now, I can't make decisions for you people, but I know what I gotta do.
Stay tuned for more of the making of Sliders, only on the Sci-Fi Channel. Every Sliders episode takes an incredible collaboration of ideas.
Every week, our sliders depend on one another. In a race against time and space, they search for the dimension called home and face an enemy that embodies our deadliest nightmare.
Be smart, kid. Deal with me while you can. Don't make me turn you over to the mags.
Man, as a human being, sink low enough to become one of their lapdogs.
You'll get your chance to find out.
I would hope that Sliders is opening up all of our imaginations, stimulating our imaginations, our minds.
We've got plenty of action on Sliders, but we also explore some pretty fantastic ideas.
Parallel universes are not only possible, but they're probably necessary. So we're investigating something that's not entirely science fiction. It may someday be science fact.
It's a fabulous concept, and it's why I originally came onto it, is because it's not like other television shows where you're stuck in an emergency room every episode or you're stuck in a police precinct. It's a different show every week.
You're a trained fighter. You tasted combat. And yet you fled your world during our invasion. Are you a coward?
I'd already given up flying to be with my husband after he got injured.
How human.
I hope when people see the show, they have a good time watching it, but realize that something more important is being touched on.
Who the devil are you people?
Shut up! Easy, Ralph. You bruise him, you don't get your bounty.
You look. I haven't done anything.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't it?
You should go to the police.
Not a good idea.
What kind of place is this? Why would they take Rembrandt and not us?
You were lucky, Colin. You were raised in a world where race didn't make a difference.
This show has two distinct sides to it. It's a wonderful social commentary, and the concept of what if, that you go to a certain world and what would happen if the normal chain of history as we know it had been altered in some way. So this world is totally different.
Haven't you seen, heard, haven't you looked around? Hasn't any of this affected you at all?
Of course. But what happened, happened. Hey,
In science, you can't control everything. Science didn't throw that switch, you did!
Hey, Quinn!
You didn't have to use that much power. Hey, you just didn't give it.
The universe has risks.
The universe has no conscience, so we have to let it in. You blew it.
I think the fans are going to really sit up and take notice this year. I think we're delivering a show that will exceed their expectations.
We'll be back. You can count on it. I'm Jerry O'Connell. Thank you for watching our special behind-the-scenes look at how Sliders is made. That's a cut. All the Sliders action doesn't stop here. You can see all the new original Sliders only here on the Sci-Fi Channel.